Today we're talking about business continuity backup systems.
Woohoo!
So Shawn, the lead dog from cleverdog ITsystems, tell us about business continuity. What exactly is that?
Well, business continuity can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. What we're really focusing on today is talking about how it applies to your backup system, because it's not enough just to have a backup system and back up your data. You need a complete plan to be able to restore that data in a reasonable amount of time so you don't have downtime in your business.
Agreed. So that's the whole concept of the business continuity, or the BDR device. We've heard that term sometimes, backup and disaster recovery. What does that mean, disaster recovery? Like, what do these things do different than a regular backup?
So part of having a proper business continuity plan is walking through it and knowing exactly what's going to happen when disaster strikes. So for instance, if you were to lose a server, if it were to go down, you need to know what the plan is to be able to recover from that and how much time it's going to take you to recover.
Agreed. So plan is obviously the first thing. That's really important.
Absolutely.
And then is there a software that does this? Is it an actual device? Like, how do we accomplish this not being down at all?
So one of the ways that we do it for our clients is we have appliances like the two you see in front of us. And what those do, if you were to lose a server, if it was to go down, then we can actually restore the server onto one of these appliances and do it fairly quickly, in some cases as little as 15 minutes.
Wow.
And you're back up and running from your last backup.
That's really interesting. So the actual server that might be down for whatever reason would run on one of these devices?
That's right. You would have a virtual copy of your server that you would bring up on one of these devices. And it's not like it used to be, where you used to back up once a day and it used to be overnight and it used to take a long time and there were tapes and drives involved. We actually have backup systems that run every 1 to 2 hours. So
wow.
You're never very far away from your data. The awesome thing is you can restore from a backup that was an hour ago. So it's
wow.
only an hour of time.
That much frequency, yeah? So you're right when you were talking about, the user intervention. There was a lot of stuff that had to be done. If it wasn't done, there could be risk to your data. So these things are automated, I'm assuming. You schedule them.
It's all scheduled, so it doesn't mean the business owner or manager doesn't have to do anything.
They don't have to think about it.
It's all completely automated, and it provides you with all kinds of alerting if there's issues with it, and you get verification that your backups worked.
Quite powerful. And what is this device basically? I mean, it looks like a NAS, those network attached storage devices. I think it's a mini computer, right? It's got a...
Yeah, it's a computer in itself. So it allows you to virtualize copies of whatever you're backing up onto the device.
Now, I've heard that the power of these is the actual backup agent, the software that goes onto the server itself. I assume that that's what does the magic, and that it sends images to this device, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's backing up a complete image of your system. So not just your data, but also your entire server system or whatever it is.
The whole OS, everything.
That's right.
So that's pretty powerful then. And how long would it take to actually fall over onto one of these devices should something go wrong? Well, actually, you know what? What would cause something to go wrong? Why would you use one of these devices?
Oh, here's a simple case that happened to us some time ago. Overnight, a server restarted as part of doing some updates, and it didn't come back online. So the next morning, in roughly
You're
about
panicking
15,
first of all.
Yeah, well, there was some panic first of all, yes. But to be honest, the nice thing about that is we know what to do, and that's part of having that plan. So the next morning, all we did was virtualize the client server on this device. Took about 15 minutes.
That short of time.
They were back up and running before they even realized they weren't running.
Holy cow.
So when all the employees came in that morning, as far as they knew, it was business as usual. Nobody noticed anything different. They didn't have to change anything. And we were able to take the server off-site, resolve what we had to, bring it back end of day, and restore it from the device, and Nobody knew any different.
That's unbelievable. And would they have noticed the performance hit? Would they, would they say, oh my God, why are we on this backup device so slow? Or
no, in most cases, assuming that it's sized right for the particular client, they're not even going to notice that.
They wouldn't even notice
there's any difference. No.
So I'm under the impression that when you now need to fall back to, you've changed the hard drive in the server, you've fixed the Windows corruption, whatever it might be. The server is now able to start on its own. I'm under the impression that putting the image from the device back onto it might be a bit more work than the 15 minutes or so.
There's a bit more work in putting it back, but the great thing is during the time that you're running on the appliance, it's still backing up for you. It's backing up the appliance itself. So at the end of the day, you're going back and restoring again from your last backup.
Hold on a second.
The server.
So really, so it's taking a backup image of the server. Then when it falls over and it's running the image of that server, it's also taking a backup of that?
It's still keeping a backup of that. So you have that business continuity. You're not going to have that downtime that you normally would have had with a lot of the old systems.
Wow, that's really good. And is there a large cost to this? Like, what would you say, in comparative to a basic software backup, let's say, that doesn't do that?
So the cost of both the device and the monthly costs are quite reasonable, especially given what you get from it, because again,
you're never down.
You're just not suffering the downtime, or certainly not what you would have experienced years ago. And today's business climate has changed. It's much faster than it used to be.
Agreed.
And it's completely the person that can keep running is the person that will have a profitable business.
Might be ahead of the game. And it's not just hardware failures that could cause this type of failover that you'd need. It could be a virus. Like there's viruses that encrypt all the data these days.
Sure.
Water damage, theft. Could you imagine if someone came in and stole your server? I guess someone could say, well, they would steal your backup device too, but there's a failover, right?
Even that you're really protected for, because the other thing that this does is it offloads a copy of your backups to a data center. So even if you had a major disaster where your office burns down or your appliance is stolen, then we would virtualize you in the data center and could have you up and running same day. And basically everything would be operational the same as it was in the office. You're just connecting to a data center.
Wow. So it's not just virtualizing on the device. You can actually virtualize from the cloud backup of the device.
That's right, in the data center as well.
That's incredible.
So that's the whole idea, that it keeps you going. Things like, of course, you hear a lot of people talking about ransomware today, and a lot of people have been hit by that.
Agreed.
Where it's locked up their whole system. They have to pay to get out of it. In this case, you could go back to a backup prior to when you got the ransomware, and then you're fine. Have your business up and operating again.
So I guess the most amount of downtime they would have is just that 1 hour, I guess, so between the last backup it did until
that's right. It used to be when you backed
the day
up
before,
overnight.
11 o'clock last night.
If it failed today at 4 o'clock, then you're going back to
today's whole work is gone.
That's right. You lost the whole day's work. So those days, this really takes care of that. So those days are hopefully gone.
Sounds like.
And you're losing an hour or two of work tops.
I heard a Savvy Tech talk about this device and where it should sit in the cost scale, and he says, instead of leaving it in an IT, infrastructure cost, move it to insurance, change it where it sits on the ledger, put it to insurance, because you'd never take a chance with insurance on your business or your car or your life even, you get insurance. So this needs to be thought of as insurance, I think.
That's essentially what it is, yeah. And it's insurance that at some point, you will likely absolutely utilize it, and you'll be happy that you had it.
And what's your business worth to you, right? Like how much, for sure, this is going to be worthwhile if you look at those numbers. And I think if we amortize it out over the whole month, it probably works out to be the cost of a cup of coffee a day, something like that.
Yeah, it's not a high cost compared to what it gives you and the peace of mind it gives you. I mean, I know myself. I've lost all my hair prior to having this sort of appliance available.
Sleepless nights, right? Wondering about servers.
I sleep very well now, and it as do my clients.
Yeah, I believe they do. I bet you. This sounds like a great device. So if someone wanted to get one of these, what would they do?
So in order to get set up with one, there needs to be a little assessment of your network, what you're backing up. There's different sizes of units depending on
How much data you have,
how
things
much
like
data
that.
you have, and how many servers you have. So it's sized accordingly to that.
So a device like we're looking at here, maybe the little one, that would service just one server, I guess, or one major computer?
Yeah, it could service more than one depending on the size, but generally that's what you're looking at.
I guess disk space has reduced such now that, you know, this little device can probably do 4 terabytes even. I don't know if that's possible, but
yeah, there's a lot of storage space available in a small amount of space, not like it used to be.
Yeah, agreed. So thanks for joining us today on this episode, and we hope to see you next time on Let's Talk About It.